rots justice systems. It drains vital resources that could otherwise be spent educating children, treating the sick, expanding access to energy and broadband, or any number of services that improve people's lives. President Biden has, for the first time, designated the fight against corruption as a core U.S. national security interest. The United States is taking unprecedented steps to crack down on illicit financing, to seize and freeze stolen assets, and make it harder for those who steal from people to launder their money through real estate and shell companies. And combating corruption will be a central theme of the Summit for Democracy, which will convene starting tomorrow on International Anti-Corruption Day. The summit is a chance for us to learn from one another about what works best in fighting corruption, where we're falling short, and how we can work better together. Because in our interconnected global system, no individual, movement, government, or country can effectively fight corruption alone. As we go into the summit, there's a lot we can learn from the champions we're celebrating today. First, to fight corruption, we need leaders from every part of our societies to step up. Journalists, prosecutors, activists, business leaders, academics, educators, government officials. Second, as corrupt actors grow increasingly skilled at spreading their illicit activities and networks across borders, anti-corruption champions must do the same, finding partners in every field and part of the world. And we need to systematically fix the weakest links in our interconnected system. That's what Belize's Auditor General, Dorothy Bradley, did when she exposed how smugglers, traffickers, and other criminals were paying bribes to obtain Belizean passports and visas, which they were using to escape accountability. Third, the secret weapon of anti-corruption champions everywhere, and the reason many of this year's awardees have been effective in countering impunity despite the powerful forces arrayed against them, is that they have most people on their side. People have experienced and understand to their core just how harmful and unjust corruption is. A 2017 poll found 1 in 4 people around the world had paid a bribe during the last year. Corruption is estimated to cost up to 5% of global GDP. In the majority of countries, people think corruption is one of the 3 biggest problems they face. And in the majority of countries, people think governments are doing a bad job tackling corruption. Just look at the broad-based uprisings around the world in recent years. In the Maidan in Ukraine and Tahrir Square in Egypt, the mass movements in Romania, Tunisia, Sudan, Guatemala, you'll find they're driven by a total revulsion at corruption. That's why people in Cyprus responded to calls by Alexandra Adelidis to come out into the streets to demand accountability for corrupt officials who had sold passports to high bidders. And it's why people often rally behind anti-corruption champions when they come under attack for their work. That's what happened to Martha Chizuma, the youngest person and first woman to lead Malawi's Anti-Corruption Bureau. She worked hard to root out graft in public projects and electoral systems. She was so good at her job that politicians blocked her from being reappointed. But people from across Malawi came out to demand she stay on, including civil society groups, government officials, and ordinary citizens who believed in her and what she was trying to do. Under pressure, politicians reversed their decision and reappointed Martha. The people we recognize today have been threatened, smeared, harmed for their work. Just a few months ago, Riyad Qubesi, a Lebanese journalist, had his windshield smashed while reporting a story on abuses by security forces. Despite the attacks, Riyad and the other honorees have persisted, and we're grateful to them. To today's honorees, thank you for your inspiring and essential work. The United States is honored to be your partner, now and going forward. And to all, congratulations.
استمعنا إلى تصريح وزير الخارجية الأميركي الذي أعلن خلال هذا الحفل الافتراضي عن أسماء الفائزين بجائزة أبطال مكافحة الفساد الدولية، والتي كانت الإدارة الأميركية الجديدة قد أطلقت هذه الجائزة. ومن ضمن الفائزين الزميل رياض قبيسي الذي فاز يعني شخصيا ووحده في منطقة الشرق الأوسط بهذه الجائزة، ولذلك مبروك وألف مبروك للزميل رياض قبيسي، مع التذكير بأنها ليست الجائزة الأولى الدولية التي يحظى بها الزميل رياض قبيسي. سنستمع في